friends, and welcome back to Belle's Books. I am so happy to have you here today. I'm actually so excited to be filming this video because this is the first video that is being posted since I hit 800 subscribers, which I am just so thankful for and surprised as well. I think I'm actually at 803 at the moment that I'm filming this video. So I'm just so excited about it. And so if you are one of those 803 subscribers, then thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and for supporting me and just being here with me on Belle's Books. And if you're not one of those 803 subscribers, then hit the subscribe button and become one, because I'd absolutely love to have you here. You might also be interested to know that I have a book club, Belle's Book Club. This week we'll be picking our monthly read, so if you'd like to join the book club and also get to vote on the monthly read, then please do click the link in the description box below, because it will just be so much fun to have you there and I can't wait to meet you. So today we're going to be talking about Like Wind Against Rock by Nancy Kim. As usual, this is a spoiler-free review, so whether you've read the book or not, feel free to watch this video and either decide for yourself whether or not you're going to read the book, or let me know if you thought the same things that I did about this book. So this book is about an American-born Korean woman named Alice Chang, who is aged 39 and whose father dies at the same time as she is going through a divorce. And so she moves back home to live with her now single, widowed mother, and Alice has basically hit rock bottom at the beginning of this novel. But at the same time, her mum appears to be completely thriving despite the death of her father. And so Alice is really struggling watching her mother move on like this, and basically becomes obsessed with posthumously analysing her parents' relationship. At the same time, you hear from the perspective of her boss, who is a Korean man named Mr. Park, and at the beginning doesn't seem to be related to this story, but naturally eventually becomes related to the story. And the turning point comes when she finds her father's old journal, which is written in Korean, which she doesn't speak. She speaks it, I think, but she doesn't read it. And then she learns the family secrets, both the ones that her mother knows and the ones that necessarily her mother didn't know. So yeah, it's a novel with all kinds of secrecy and mystery wrapped up in it. So it's basically all about the relationship between immigrants' parents and their children, and how hard it is to fulfill your parents' expectations and whether or not those expectations can ever be fulfilled. So who would I recommend this book to? I would recommend this book to absolutely any adult in the world, basically, but especially people who are perhaps living the immigrant experience, or people whose parents or grandparents lived the immigrant experience. In the exact same breath, I'm gonna say, if you haven't lived an immigrant experience, read this book, because I feel like it will also be really illuminating, and it's good to read about things that you haven't experienced at all. So before we get into my rating and my thoughts, I'll just go through a couple of trigger warnings. Obviously grief and divorce, if you're sensitive to those topics, this might not be the book for you. And possibly rape. There's this one random scene that's just kind of thrown in there that could possibly be alluding to a rape or a sexual assault that happened off screen, and it's not descriptive in any way. And it's only mentioned once, which is part of what makes it so strange. I don't quite understand why it was put in the novel. Okay, so now for my rating. I rated this 3 stars because I thought it was a good read, but there was nothing about it which made it great. Do you know what I mean? But I did enjoy the read, you know? It was enjoyable, and I'm glad I read the book. So one of the things that I most enjoyed about it was reading about the kind of experience of being an immigrant, and I found the perspective completely fascinating. I thought it was interesting to kind of compare the theme of expectation versus reality as well. So this kind of applies to immigration life, what do you expect it's going to be like in the country you immigrate to, and then what is it really like. But it also applied to the theme of parent and child, because it's parents expect one thing from you, and if you try and fulfill that expectation, will you ever be able to fulfill that expectation? Can reality ever live up to a parent's expectations for their child? And then I suppose this kind of theme is also present more widely as we consider relationships in general. What do we expect going into a relationship, and then how do our expectations shape that relationship for us, and how do they kind of force people into roles that we expect them to take on, which aren't necessarily the roles that they wanted to take on. So yeah, I really enjoyed thinking about those kind of questions and those kind of themes when I was reading this book. And the other thing is, I thought that the plot was genuinely interesting, and I found myself really intrigued throughout the novel, and then shocked and saddened as the truth and the secrets were revealed. And I thought it was very well written, and the characters were very realistic. I think that her writing is very full of emotion. So that being said, although her writing was excellent and the emotion was really interesting, and I liked the plot and the themes. I didn't like the characters that much, and I find this to be kind of what makes or breaks a novel for me. So basically, I don't think I liked any of the characters really. I maybe empathized with all of them at points, but at the end of the day, except for maybe Mr. Park, I didn't find myself liking any of them, which was a shame because I was hoping that maybe, I don't know, one of them would evolve into a more likable character and show more like character progression that way. Which kind of brings me to my last point, was that I didn't feel like many or any of the characters progressed. I feel like they were quite static, and at the end of the novel there was almost like a list of how Alice was going to develop after the end of the book. But that was kind of it, and I didn't really see any change in the characters. And I'm not sure if that was intentional on the part of the author or just poor writing, but yeah, that was kind of the limitation that kept it at 3-star rating for me. So if you liked this, then you might want to read one of these books, I think. So first of all, The Farm by Joanne Ramos. So I read this recently, and I will link my review of it right now if you would like to watch that too. So it's basically about a surrogacy clinic in New York and the immigrant women who work there, and it's basically an examination of modern society, morality, class, race, immigration, as well as motherhood. Then we have A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum, and this is about 3 generations of Palestinian American women living in Brooklyn, and basically explores what immigration is like for different women and through different generations and how that might change. So it's told from one perspective in the 90s and then one perspective in the 2010s, I think. It's very heartbreaking. There's trigger warnings for abuse, unfortunately, but if you can kind of read about those topics, this is completely worth the read. And then finally we have Chinhomini's Secret, which I'm sure I'm saying wrong, so feel free to correct me in the comments. And this is also by Nancy Kim, and this is actually her debut novel, her first novel that she wrote, and it's about the intergenerational cultural conflicts between immigrant parents and their westernized daughters. And I believe it has a kind of magical or prophetic element to this story as well. So yeah, that's all from me for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I would just love to have you here. You can also follow my Instagram at Bell's Books if you'd like. Bye!